Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to look at the round 10 preview for NRL Fantasy in the 2025 season. So before we get stuck into my team and what I'm doing, we'll have a look at the who's hot and who's not list. So most popular trade-ins and trade-outs since lockout. And on the who's hot list, the number one this week, King Togia from St. George. Looked really good on debut. Looks like it's his spot to lose now. So, at 260k, he's still great value. Bring him in. Won't play round 12, so obviously make sure you are covered for that. But you can use him as a downgrade option to obviously facilitate those preparations. Dylan Lucas at number 2. So just looking through this, I'm doing pretty well. Just realised I've got the top 5 in my team already. So pretty much recommend all these guys. Dylan Lucas, keeper in the centres, great origin buy coverage. Knights are finding a little bit of form. Got the Titans this week, so all signs, lead to bringing Lucas in. Aaron Clark, Warriors play round 12. Probably the inform hooker option at the moment, given that big minute role in the 13. Can highly encourage bringing him in. Riley Smith obviously is more of a downgrade option, but looks like he is expanding his role in that Eels side. So as an owner, I can agree, bring him in. Jacob Kiraz, he is probably another keeper in the centres. Obviously the wing fullback dual position is handy as well. Just that base stat beast that we really like, particularly in the wing fullback spot. Sometimes they're a little bit harder to come by. Bring in Jacob Kiraz. I guess as well with him, Zach Lomax sounds like he'll be back in time for Origin. So Kiraz should be a bit more available for the Dogs during that time. So Fletcher Sharp is the first one I don't have currently. And he was an option I was looking at bringing in last week. A bit filthy. I didn't pull the trigger when he absolutely went off. And again, maybe a bit of a silly move, but I am going against him again this week. But we'll discuss that when we talk trades. Jazz Tavanga is the next one. So for his price and what he can offer, he is great value. Obviously, the dual position is nice. He's starting in the 13 jersey. I think, trying to remember, I don't know if they have hooker coverage, so he may also play a bit at hooker. So it should equal some good minutes for him. Jaden Campbell back from his injury, and I've had him as a keeper at wing fullback for the season. I guess the difference between him and Fletcher Sharp is just that round 12 availability. So it probably makes more sense to bring in Sharp, but spoiler alert, Jaden Campbell is my guy. Jamie Humphries, so this is probably the first one I don't necessarily agree with. And it just comes down to his massive break even. So I think, he is a dominant half there. He'll come back, he'll do all the kicking, he'll do his defensive work. But I think you can wait a week, and then that gets us to round 11, which leads into the round 12 bye. So I think he is one you can wait till round 13 and then jump on. I don't fully remember the Rabbitohs draw. So they do play 15, 16 and 18. So he is a big target for round 13. So just put him in the black book. And, if you're looking for a half around that price, Fletcher Sharp, Jaden Campbell is where it's at. Or even Luke Metcalf. He does play round 12, so it does make him a viable trade-in at the moment. Again, another one I've already got, so I can't talk you out of it. Joe Tarpany, so Raiders do play round 12. Joey obviously being a New Zealand guy, definitely going to play and score well. Could bring him in. I've got enough money invested in the middle, so I'm not worrying about him. Patea is an interesting one. I was looking at trading him in this week. The Panthers have named 2 backs on their bench. So he should get some okay minutes through that middle rotation, um, albeit they do have Isaiah Yeo will play 80, and I think Lindsay Smith starting can play big minutes too. But the other advantage is he should play round 13 with Isaiah Yeo, Liam Martin heading off to play Origin. He should get some good minutes in that time too. So definitely a bit of a slower burn, but one you can bring in if you need to upgrade. And I guess you've already got a King Togia. Blake Brayley, so does play round 12. Obviously, a very solid hand at hooker. Um, I don't know the price point, which makes this a bit of an awkward one, but I'd probably rather go up to Aaron Clark or down to Riley Smith or down to Jazz Tavanga, if I'm being completely honest. But I understand the appeal. Pasifiki Tonga, so the young front rower, there was a bit of hype about him pre-season. Um, I guess I'm willing to wait a week and have a look. Also, because he doesn't play around 12, um, I don't think his price is going to get away from me. He could be one I grab round 13 as a cheap downgrade at that point. And Kalen Ponga, so obviously probably the cheapest you're going to get him, I believe. Um, but he surely plays Origin for Queensland, which means he doesn't get access to those sweet buys that Fletcher Sharp, Dylan Lucas do. So even though I am a Kalen Ponga owner, I wouldn't be trading in Kalen Ponga this week. On the trade outs, I think this is one of the biggest numbers I've ever seen on here, but Pete Mamazelis, and with his elbow injury, doesn't play in round 12 anyway. I think he is one that you can chop. Sandon Smith, I think he's one you would try and hold just if you had him because he will offer you coverage through the buys. Um, Obviously, if you've already got a few like Savala, Toya, Billy Smith, Nwanga Tuase, Tedesco, Connor Watson, the list goes on to Fahu White. You can't hold all the Roosters guys, particularly this week when they're on bye. So I guess that might factor in a bit too. Um, so I guess if we are looking at those Roosters guys, probably the order of trading would be Connor Watson. Should play Origin, so he's going to be even less available over the coming weeks. Um, and then probably Sandon Smith. I mean, if you've got Savala, don't know if you need both Roosters halves. Um, After that, I don't know. Like Toya's going to make money after his massive 100. I don't know why people are trading out this week. That's the most ridiculous trade I've ever seen. The Wangani Tawase, it looks like he's pretty well locked in on that wing, given they've told Dom Young he can basically go anytime he wants. Nafahu White is probably going to lead the pack with Angus Crichton playing Origin, you'd imagine. Lindsay Collins could be a shout for Queensland. So they will have or Spencer Leniu could be on the bench too for New South Wales. So, surely he gets big minutes there. So I guess if you have the four, Nwangani Tuase, Toya, White, and probably Savala for me, just because he is a bit cheaper, are the four that you can probably hold. The rest you do need to probably move on to get a functioning team this week. Jacob Preston with his suspension, I think, is a trade out. Toa with his injury and the money he's got that he can unlock for your team, I think can go. Jai Gray, so named on the bench with Latrell back at fullback, Jamie Humphries back at halfback. So I think he's one that's can go. Siwa Wong, so I guess he wasn't on my list previously of the keep, so he can go. Jackson Purdue's made his money, so he can go. Corey Pake's come off the bench, can go. Angus Crichton will play Origin, you imagine, so he can go. Jack Cole, don't know why you're holding on to him still, he can go. And AJ Brimson, um, I guess depends who you're bringing in. I guess if you're upgrading to a Fletcher Sharp or Jaden Campbell or something like that, yes. Siding, raising him to Kalen Ponga, I don't know. yeah, 50-50 on that. Downgrading to King Togia, surely there's someone else. But yeah, depends what you're doing with him. Uh, all right, so trades this week after a lot of wrangling with the app because I tried to talk myself into some different trades and played around with it a bit, and here we are. But anyway, back on track. So the trade outs this week: Mamazelis, Jackson Purdue, I think makes sense. Trade ins, I've gone with Jazz Tavanga as that cheaper option. Obviously, a straight swap at hooker is handy, but I do have Aaron Clark and I do have Riley Smith, so wasn't really required. It's probably just more Patiras at a cheaper price. Pasifiki Tonga is cheaper again, but I think Jazz's job role is probably superior, and I think he'll score more points over the next few weeks. So willing to spend that little bit extra. And then Purdo up to Fletcher Sharp. So I had originally had Jaden Campbell in this spot. And I still think he is like an elite keeper at wing fullback in particular. But I guess Fletcher Sharp probably offers a little bit more value over the next few weeks. I guess the round 12 buy included. Um, and the hope is that Campbell's price won't get too much higher. Uh, I might be paying 800 or so in a couple of weeks to get him in, but I may be comfortable with doing that. So, um, yeah, so those are the moves. In terms of the team this week, if it'll load, again, NRL Fantasy on Thursday is the worst. Um, so, yeah, not too many changes. I think Sharp came in for Nwangani Tuase, who's on the bye. So it looks a bit weird with all the Knights in the back, but again, they don't have a bye to round 18. So it is a relatively safe move in that sense, and we do know their pedigree in terms of being able to score in fantasy. Um, the bench looking pretty strong with Clark, Gilbert, Egan, and just as a bit of security, you're probably pretty comfortable playing Riley Smith. But if there was some sort of injury or something, we can then loop King Togia in. So can't imagine that anything over 25, I'd probably be comfortable enough with taking from Riley Smith. So that's how the team's shaping up this week. Captain Payne Haas, just keep it simple. VC Terrell May, you know, a few people might be tempted by Cleary. I'm just going the safe option this week. So yeah, that's the team. I'll save all that because apparently it's not saving. It'll take forever to save, so we'll wrap the video up there. As always, if there's any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the NRL fantasy content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.